Om 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 Sahana Vavatu Sahanam Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhetamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartrabhyo Paramarishibhyo Namo Namaha. So we are looking into this Amrita Bindu Upanishad on this 106th day, the 13th month of Vedanta Shravana Sadhana Yagna. Amrita Bindu Upanishad. So yesterday we saw in verse 8, verse 7 and verse 8. Verse 7 was about the practice of yoga or how to meditate on that Ishvara, the process. Swarena Sandhayed Yogam. After uniting with the Swara or the sound, uniting consciousness with sound, what happens? Aswaram Bhavayed Param. After uniting, what should I do? I should meditate on the silence, the Aswaram, where the Swara ends. In that part, I should meditate. Asvarenanubhavena. What happens when I meditate on that silence? Bhavaha. Whatever is seeming as existence to me, in terms of body, in terms of surroundings, in terms of my emotions, feelings, thoughts, and all the other differences in my personality, other than my true self, will become abhava. It will be non-existing in my mind. This abhava is like the same abhava which we experience during sleep. When we go to sleep, we don't realize the presence of our body, we don't realize the presence of our thoughts, we don't realize the presence of our emotions, we don't realize of the presence of our status in life, how much money we have, our relationships, who are our relationships. We don't even know our gender. We don't even know the room outside us. We don't even know which place we are staying. Most of the times we have this experience of sleeping in a new place and then waking up in the morning and remembering that we are sleeping in a new place. So this is the memory loss that happens during the time of meditation. We do not remember existence. We do not remember anything else other than the self. There is only the self. We do not know anything else other than the self. There is no memory of existence in our mind at the time. When we unite the consciousness with the sound, and then after the sound of Om is over, when we are remaining in that silence, when we pay our attention to that silence, then everything else in existence become abhava. Then what is that in that silence? What is it that we know? What is it that we experience? We are experiencing that Brahman, that silence after the chanting of Om, in which the mind is resting for a while. What is that Brahman? Tadeva, that itself is Nishkalam, the pathless Brahma, that which is big, that which is everywhere, that which is present in everything, that Brahma. Nirvikalpam, that Brahman has no vikalpa. There are no other thoughts in that Brahman. Niranjanam, that Brahman is stainless. That Brahma is I, the self. Jnatva param sampadyate dhruvam. When I realize that, when I know that, I achieve the supreme. No, this truth, is there any logical proof to this? Is the truth illogical, or only if it's logically proved to me can I accept it? Otherwise, I cannot accept it. Is there something like that? The whole process here is an acceptance. In life also, when something that we don't like happens, the moment we drop all our questions about it, we accept it, we are not, that problem or that situation does not affect us. Here, a thought is presented to us. The thought of the Supreme Self is presented to us. We are having problems. We are not able to, we are able to understand Vedanta. We like to practice the meditative part of it because that meditation gives us energy, it gives us peace. We are able to be quiet because of that meditation. It gives clarity of mind. But the whole process of Vedanta completes when you are able to accept this statement. So all the practices that we do with meditation is to increase the capacity to accept. Who is accepting? The mind is the one that has to accept. The mind, which contains so many vasanas in the chittam, when all the vasanas are being worked out the rest of the day, and when we sit with the Vedantic thought of I am that Brahman, when the mind is very pure, when the mind is still the mind is very quiet, the acceptance happens like dropping a stone in a deep water. When we drop a stone in shallow water, immediately concentric waves and ripples start in the water. But when the stone is dropped in the deep water, it just goes in without any big movement at all, completely. The stone is completely accepted inside. In the same way, we are still searching for something. We are still searching for some logic. So the Upanishad Guru, the Acharya, gives us the logic. What is it? Nirvikalpam anantam cha hetu drishtanta varjitam aprameyam anadim cha Yagnatva muchyate buddha. The thing is, I want to be free. The wise man seeks freedom. If I want to be free, then I have to know this, realize this. Simple as that. What should I know and what should I realize? Nirvikalpam. There is no vikalpa. There is no choice. There is no division. There is no separation. There is no duality. There is no hatred. There is no scope for hatred here because there is nothing other than the self. Nirvikalpam. Vikalpam means thought. Vikalpam means imagination. Vikalpam also means many. Nirvikalpam means no thought, no imagination, no manyness, just oneness. Nirvikalpam. Anantam. Antam means end. Anantam means no end. Endless. Cha. This endless oneness is hetu drishtanta varjitam. It does not have any hetu. It does not have any logic. For example, when I see smoke up in the mountain, I say there is fire in the mountain. I am not seeing the fire, but I am seeing the smoke. When somebody asks, how come are you seeing fire? You say, no, I am not seeing fire. But then how are you saying there is fire in the mountain? Run, run, run. There is a game we play as children. Fire in the mountain, run, run, run. That's all. I don't know what that game is about, but simply we keep clapping our hands and going round and round and playing. So there is fire in the mountain, we say. How do we say? because this is smoke in the mountain. The smoke is the hetu for coming to the conclusion of the thought of fire. In the same way, this self, the Atman, has got no cause. Because this is there, I'm saying the Atman is there. No, there is nothing. Because this is existing, I'm saying Brahman is there. Then what is existing that shows the Brahman will become greater than the Brahman? The Brahman becomes a second, and what is existing becomes first. To show the Brahman. This Brahman has got no hetu. Can you show a comparison? This mountain is like the Himalayan mountain. The mountains in Kodaikanal, the mountains in Ooty are like the mountains in the Western Ghats. Or the mountains in the Western Ghats are mountains like the Himalayan mountains, but they are smaller. The Himalayan mountains are bigger. So the Himalayan mountains are bigger mountains. The mountains in the Western Ghats are smaller mountains. The mountains in the Eastern Ghats are smaller, and the mountain in Chennai, the St. Thomas Mount in Chennai, is very, very small. The, what is that mount, the hill in Tiruchi, Uchipillaya temple, that rock is still smaller, we say. So that is drishta anta. You are seeing something, you are putting an end to that vision by pointing out something else, bigger, or a comparative example to put an end to this thought. This is not, there is no drishtanta to give. Brahman is like Atman. No. Brahman is Atman. Brahman cannot be like Atman. Sat is like Chit. Chit is like Ananda. No. Sat is Chit. Chit is Ananda. Ananda is Sat. And Sat is Ananda. Hetu, Drishtanta, Varjitam. These are all many words that are used to tell, to speak about that one Brahman. Hetu, Drishtanta, Varjitam. Aprameyam. Can this Brahman, what is this Brahman that we are talking about now? Swarena Sandhayet Yogam, Aswaram Bhavayet Param Aswaram. There is a supreme silence that the mind is led to once you meditate on that swara. When you raise that swara of Om, you pay attention to it, then the mind is dropped into that silence like that pole vaulting. The pole vault, the pole is taken, you climb high with that pole, you drop that swara, you drop that pole, and you jump into the other side in that same mind, in that same landscape, which is soft, cushioned, in the mind of silence. When you stop, what happens? Bhavaha abhavaha. Whatever was there on the other side, when the pole vaulter is dropping on that cushioned surface, he is not suffering because he has not dropped on the other side, which is the floor on which he ran. In the same way, when the mind goes into meditation and it drops into that silence, it is very joyful, it is very blissful, because it has left the bhava, it has left the existence of the world. In that existence of the world, there are so many problems. There's problem of poverty, there's problem of penury, there's problem of politics, there's problem of disease, there's problem of many obstacles. Everything is left behind. Bhava, all that has been left behind, bhava becomes abhava. That abhava, that space which has made us experience the abhavatvam, the non-existence of the existence that we perceived earlier, is Brahman. Nirvikalpam, that Brahman is free of thoughts. Once you go into that Brahman, get thoughts? Will you get worries? Will you get confusion? Will you get doubts? No, because that Brahman is nirvikalpam. What is that Brahman? Anantam. It has got no end to it. There is no limitation to it. It is just endless. Hetu drishtanta varjitam. There is no logic to it. You cannot explain through logic. You cannot show another example. Brahman is like this. No, not possible. Aprameyam. This Brahman cannot be measured. Cha anad aprameyam anadim. There is no beginning to Brahman. There is no end to Brahman. It is anantam. No end, no limit to Brahman. It is also anadim. There is got no beginning to Brahman. Yat jnatva muchyate buddhaha. Once when I know that, yat jnatva, when I know that, I become the buddhaha, the wise person. Who is a wise person? The person is wise when they engage in the search of Brahman, when they engage in the search of money, when they engage in the search of pleasure, when they engage in the search of comforts, they are not wise. A wise one is one who engages in the search of Brahman. Muchyate buddhaha. This Amrita Bindu Upanishad is spoken to the one who is engaged in the search of Brahman. So, like when you are searching for some address, somebody comes on the way who knows the way and who points us out to the way. In the same way, the Upanishad is a loving guide that points us towards the truth. Points us means points the mind towards the truth. Who is searching? The mind is searching. And the mind needs to know the truth. Otherwise, even in our ordinary lives, if you know somebody is having a secret that they are not telling you, you are so restless because you cannot rest quietly without knowing what it is. In the same way, even if the mind is having everything, all the pleasures in life, all the riches in life, everything, and the mind is seeking satisfaction outside, it can never be quiet until it knows the truth. And so that is the reason why we study the Upanishads. Verse 10. Na nirodho na chodpattihi na bodho na cha sadhakaha na mumukshurvai na vai muktaha ityesha paramarthata. In the earlier example that I said, when the pole vaulter jumps on the other side, soft, cushion, very happy, victorious, he has completed the journey and he has successfully grabbed the medal also, you can say. He is not going to have the suffering of the practice, the politics behind the practice, the politics behind the maintenance, the sorrow behind the disease, the pain, the relationship problems. Nothing is there on the other side. Everything is successful for him. In the same way, once you drop the mind into the Brahman, na nirodhaha. After that, there is no hard practice. There is no, you don't need to quieten the mind. You don't need, like earlier in the 5th verse, yavad hridigatam kshayam. As long as the mind has gone into the heart, till that time you must meditate, is what was told. Now there is na nirodhaha. You don't need to do anything to quieten the mind, quieten the thoughts. Na nirodhaha. Nacha utpattihi. Then you don't need to bring the mind back. You don't need to bring the thought back. It is called the vyuttana avastha, or engaging in action after that. Nacha utpattihi. You are not bound after that. Once you drop into Brahman, you are liberated. Na baddhaha. You are not a bound person. Only a bound person needs to seek liberation. Nacha sadhakaha. Anymore, you are not the person who is a sadhaka, who is striving to attain something. You have attained. Once you have reached Delhi, you don't need to strive to be in the train to get into the train and catch a seat. You don't need to be in the train. You just have to, the train has reached Delhi. You just have to come out and be and roam around in Delhi freely. You're not a person who's trying to reach Delhi. You've already reached Delhi. Nacha sadhakaha. Na mumukshuhu. Are you a free person now? There is no bondage to be like it's like a very rich man going around and telling, I am a rich man, I am a rich man. He would not say that. Even if he says, people will only aim at his richness and they may think he is a fool. Na mumukshuhu. In Brahman is free. So what is the big point in shouting out that I am free, I am free, I am free? Yes, you are Brahman, you are free. It's already known. It is like shouting out your own name, or it is like shouting out your own qualities. In these days, it is called cringe. What is cringe? When you know that you have some good quality with you. Maybe if I know that I love tidiness and I love cleanliness, and I go about saying, telling everybody, shouting out that quality, you know what? I am tidy, I am clean, I like to keep my things tidy, neat and clean. People will be irritated with what I say and they call it cringe. In the same way, you are not a mumukshu after that. It is over, you attained it. After getting the first rank in the university, you don't go about telling tom everybody, I am the first rank, I am the first rank. So what? You wanted to attain it and you've attained it. You wanted moksha and you've attained that. So you're not a mumukshu anymore. You don't need to strive. Like you don't need to strive to get into Delhi. You just have to walk into Delhi from the railway station. Navai muktaha. You are not a free person also. You don't go about telling everybody, I'm free, I'm beyond everything, I am transcendental, I am the supreme. There's nothing to say all that, because you are not all that also. All these are qualities. You are not all these qualities. Ityesha paramarthata. In the supreme self, in the supreme state, this is the reality. So there is, from here onwards, it is just a description of that state of being. Verse 11, Ekaivatma mantavyo jagrat swapna sushuptishu sthanatraya vyatitasya punarjanmana vidyate eka eva atma mantavyaha. This alone is the Atma, whatever we have described so far as the Brahman, starting from the process of meditation and dropping into that supreme state, that alone has to be meditated upon as the Atma. Atma means I, the self. Mantavyaha. This is that same self. In the waking state also, I am there. In the dream state also, I saw the dream. In the deep sleep state also, I slept very well. That I, which is there in the waking state, in the dream state, and the deep sleep state is the Atma, the Brahman. This Atma, sthanatraya vyatitasya punarjanma na vidyate. So what is the use of studying all this? What is the use of knowing this Atma? Sthanatraya vyatitasya. Sthanatraya means the waking state, the dream state, and the deep sleep state. It is beyond the three, meaning it is present in all the three, but it is not part of the three, it is beyond the three. Sthanatraya vyatitasya. For such a person who has realized that self, which is beyond the three, punar janma na vidyate. What is the use of studying all this? What is the use of knowing all this? What is the use of being in the state? There is no other birth. I don't need to take birth in this world. We take birth in this world to gain this ultimate knowledge. On the way, we are seeking so many things, and so we keep taking births again and again. In life also, if you see one situation is coming repeatedly to you, there is some knowledge that you need to gain from that situation. If you have not gained that knowledge, that situation will be happening to you again and again. So, the secret of if you don't like something, you just have to stop a while and ask yourself, what is it that I need to know from this situation? This situation is repeatedly happening to me. What is the knowledge that I don't have that the situation is trying to teach me? This person is trying to teach me. This person whom I want to avoid in my life is coming again and again in my life. What is the knowledge that he wants to teach me? If I learn that, that person, object, or situation will move out of my life. Here, in the same way, this whole world is a situation. This birth is the opportunity in this life to know the truth of who I am. If I know the truth of who I am, if I gain that knowledge of who I am, I don't need to come into this process of taking birth again and again. That is the use of studying the Upanishad. So the individual undergoes the three states of experience: birth, rebirth, and all that. And truth of the self is a witness of all that. So then, is this birth and rebirth real? Truth is also real. Birth is also real? No. Ekaiva hi bhutatma bhute bhute vyavasthitah ekadha bahudha chaiva drishyate jana chandravat. So now this is talking about the bhuta atma, this individual being, this creation, which we call, which has a name, form, and quality, the body, mind, and intellect, the bhutasya atma, the self of the being, this existence, eka eva hi, that is only one. I don't have one individual self, you have one individual self, everybody else have individual selves. According to Vedanta, there is only one self in all. Eka eva hi bhuta atma bhute bhute vyavasthitaha. In every being, that one self alone is residing. In an example, if I can say, there is space around this body. The space around this body is endless space. This body is existing in space from the head to foot, from the right shoulder to left shoulder, or whatever inches we may say. There is space inside. In the body also, in and through the body also, space alone exists. So, eka eva hi akashaha sharire sharire vyavasthitaha. In the same way, eka eva hi bhuta atma. Atma means I, consciousness. Bhute bhute vyavasthitaha. Very, very simple to understand, but very, very interesting. It takes a long time to imbibe it, to accept this knowledge, to practice it, and living it. Ekadha bahudha chaiva. Then why so many appearances? If you say Atma is one, you and I are one, then why are we existing separately? Ekadha bahudha chaiva drishyate. It is seen. Ekadha, it is seen as one, it is seen as many. Like, for example, there is the moon on top. In my balcony, I place a bowl of water where I put some flowers, okay? And there are big bowl of water. Some flowers are floating down. There is the moon in that water, like a beautiful sun around the flowers. So the moon is, there is one moon that is reflected in the water in my balcony. Then I go to the beach in Puducherry and I'm sitting quietly on the rock. If the police allow us to sit at that time at night and watch the moon, or if you can't go to Puducherry, there is the Matsya Narayana Dhyana Nilaya in Chennai, Chinmaya Tarangini. It's a beautiful temple of Bhagavan Sri Matsya Narayana on the beach. And when you sit there and you watch the beach and meditate on the moonlight falling on the ocean, you're able to see the moonlight in the big expanse of the ocean. Like you saw that one moon in the big bowl in Pondicherry, in Puducherry. In Chennai, you see it in the ocean. Now, suppose you go by flight and you are seeing many water bodies, and in every water body, it can be agricultural fields, it can be water bodies, it can be a river, it can be a big lake, or it can be a canal. In all the water bodies, the same moon is being reflected. So, do we have many moons or one moon? We have only one moon, Ekadha. It is reflected in that small bowl also. Bahudha. It is reflected in all the water bodies. Ekadha Bahudha Chaiva Drishyate. It is appearing as if Jala Chandravat, like the moon appearing in the water. This Atma, this self, this consciousness is appearing as if it is different in everybody, but in reality, this consciousness is one. For what is this consciousness? You say, I am seeing this room behind. I am aware that I am seeing this room. That awareness is the consciousness. That awareness is the same in everybody. In sleep, it is not awareness, it is ignorance. That ignorance is the same in everybody. The other side of awareness is ignorance. The darker side of awareness, when it is attached with the mind and the body, it is ignorance. That ignorance is the same in everybody in deep sleep. Everybody is deep sleep. Ravana does not have a special deep sleep than Rama. Ravana maybe have done so many things which are not good. Rama may have killed Ravana because of many reasons. But the sleep that Ravana has and the sleep that Rama has are the same sleep. The sleep that a wise man has, the sleep that a ignorant man has is the same sleep. The sleep that a rich man has, the sleep that a poor man has is the same sleep. Ekadha, Bahudha, Chaiva, yet they all appear different. So the same thought is elaborated with another example here in these next two verses. Ghata samvritam akasham niyamane ghato ghate yatha ghato niyetan akasha tatha jivo nabhopamah. Ghata samvritam akasham. There is a pot. That pot is covered. Okay, imagine this is a pot. It's a water bottle. It's not a pot. But think that this is a pot. Or we can call it a bottle itself. Gataha, bottle. Samvritam, it is covered. This bottle is covered with space. Okay. Akasham, space. Niyamane ghataha, gate. When I move this pot to this place, when I move it, yatha, just as, ghataha niyeta na akashaha. When I move this pot, I only move the pot. I don't move the space. In the same way, ghato niyeta na akashaha. Only the pot is moved and not the space. Tatha jivaha. This individual jiva or this individual consciousness in this body, mind and intellect complex, nabhaha upamaha. This individual consciousness is like space. It is not space. It is like space. There is a difference between saying that Gopal is this Krishna. That Gopal you saw in Canada is this Krishna or Swami Krishnananda who is taking this lecture here. Okay? So in that it is the same. Here it is not the same. Akasha, space and consciousness are different. This jiva is that consciousness which is like space, which has got the same attribute of steadiness like space and filling everywhere like space. Jiva nabha upamaha. घटवत् विविधाकारं भिद्यमानं पुनः पुनः तद्भग्नं न च जानाति स जानाति च नित्यशः. घटवत्, like pot, vividha akaram. There are various shapes of pots. You know, you can have a long pot, you can have a tiny pot, you can have a big pot, you can have a round pot, you can have a slim pot, you can have ghatavat, like pot, vividha akaram. This consciousness, this self takes many shapes. It appears as a broken, just like this space inside the bottle appears like bottle space. It is different from the outside space, appears different. Bidyamanam punah punaha. Bidyamanam, when the pot is broken again and again, there the destruction of the pot, nacha janati, the space does not know, because it is like space. Consciousness is like space. Now, what is the quality of the space? The quality of the space is ignorance. It is not consciousness. So that is the difference. What is the difference between jiva and space? Jiva is like space. But what is the difference between jiva and space? Jiva is aware. Consciousness is not aware. Nacha bhagnam tat bhagnam nacha janati saha janati cha nityashaha. He always knows. The various forms like pot are broken again and again, yet the space in the pot is not aware. The space inside this bottle is not aware that there is water in it. Or if I fill some other juice in it, the space will not be thinking, wow, yesterday there was only water, today there is some nice cold fruit juice inside. The space is not going to get excited. The face is not going to get depressed because there is only water. Or the space is not going to get hot because there is coffee. The space is not going to get cold because ice cubes are dropped into it. The space does not know, because the space is tamas, the space is ignorance. The pot does not know, but he, the self, in the case of individual bodies, we compared it to space, right? This consciousness is compared to space. In the case of individual bodies, the individual knows that the space is broken. That is when the individual jiva leaves the body along with the subtle body of mind, intellect, and prana. This consciousness is aware that the body is gone, that the body is no more. That is the difference. The space inside the pot does not know when the pot is broken, but the consciousness in this body, the consciousness present in everybody else, knows when it is broken, knows when it is destroyed, or knows at the time of death. So what is this? What does a spiritual seeker ask? How this ignorance began? Okay, you're saying the space does not know, then consciousness knows, but I don't know. I don't know about that I am living inside. I don't know. I see people dying, and I don't think that they know that the death is happening. When people die, they are not really aware. We don't know from outside that they are aware. How can I understand all this? When did all this ignorance start? Was there, if this consciousness knows everything, then why is this funny behavior at this present moment of ignorance. When did this ignorance come in? We ask these questions. How did it happen? When there is no ignorance in consciousness, how is this consciousness appearing ignorant right now that I have to study all this and then know? Shabdamayavruto naiva tamasayati pushkare bhinne tamasi chaikatvam eka evanupashyati. Shabdamaya avritaha. There is the power of word. The word power. In consciousness, there are thoughts, right? The thoughts, what are thoughts? Words are thoughts. Words have meaning. Words with meanings are thoughts. Shabda Maya. What is Maya? Maya is word. Shabda Maya avritaha. Na eva tamasayati pushkare. Not at all. So this is the reason, because of this tamas, because of the ignorant covering of Shabdamaya, of words, Pushkare, in the space, it is not knowing, it is not aware in space. In space, in this bottle space, there is Shabdamaya. What is the Shabdamaya? Bottle. The presence is there. The physical bottle is there. The word bottle is there here as a knowledge. And because of the word bottle covering that space, this space is not aware. Pushkare. Bhinne tamasi cha ekatvam. When this Shabdamaya goes away, the Shabdamaya is tamas. When that Shabdamaya crumbles down, when there are no words, when there are no feelings, when there are no thoughts, ekatvam, eka eva anu pashyati. Only that one consciousness remains. So what is covering that consciousness? Shabdamaya, or a delusion of words. So many words are covering our consciousness. We are consciousness. Then why are we deluded? Why are we seeing darkness? There is the word of body. There is a word of our name. There are the words of our relationships. Everything. Once the word of the body is there, everything else related to the body are all covering this. Then there is relationships. Then there is the word of what else? The words of relationships, the words of our problems, the words of our diseases in the body, the word of breath, the word of mind, the word of different thoughts, the word of different feelings, the words of different emotions. All these are Shabdamaya that are covering the consciousness. I am the body, I do actions, the world is real, this world is around me. All these are words. These words are delusory in nature. They are tamasic. They attract our consciousness. They diffuse our consciousness. They absorb our consciousness. And so we do not have the energy and the power to know who we are. We do not have the ability also. That is why the Guru is required. The love for the Guru, Ishvara is required. Guru is required. When you surrender to Ishvara, when you surrender to Guru, the Guru who knows this will lift you up from that. Shabdamaya. Otherwise, we are caught in Shabdamaya. Shabdaksharam param brahma tasmin kshine yadaksharam tadvidvan aksharam dhyayet yadichet shantimatmanaha. Everywhere, all gurus, they don't force this knowledge upon us. A person on the road who is wise, you ask them for the address of something. You may want to actually go somewhere. Like, for example, when I want to reach Chinmaya Surya, in Pondicherry, something is very unique about Pondicherry. All roads lead to the beach, but many roads can lead to you to confusion and a circular motion also. How many ever times I move out on the road, I keep searching for places. Even though the Google map is showing something, the Google map will show 8 minutes to reach some place. I would have been searching for 1 hour and I would see the bus stand that I saw many years before again and again coming in my view until I stop somewhere. And people also, when they say the way, sometimes you ask them something, they will just, because they are very busy with that work. Life is very oppressive for people mostly. So they say, they just want you to move on. You say, is that in this direction? They will just nod their head. And then you will go in the direction and you get lost. But sometimes I may want to come to Chinmaya Surya in Lost Pet Krishna Nagar, and I would be standing somewhere lost in Mission Street. And I ask somebody, I know that there is a road called Anna Salai that leads to Krishna Nagar. And I ask him, which is the way to Anna Salai? He will tell me, you go straight. He will tell me the route near the bus stand where I can reach to that end. And I would get lost when I see the bus stand again. And I may want to go somewhere else, but I may ask which is the way to the bus stand, because from the bus stand I know the route, or from Anna Salai I know the route, or from Mahatma Gandhi Road I know the route. So I had to ask them which is Mahatma Gandhi Road. And so they will point out to some other end of Mahatma Gandhi Road. I will be going in the opposite direction and I will see a railway gate which I've never wanted to see because I don't know the route of that. But when I say that, a person who is showing the way will only tell what I really want. He is not going to tell what I intended, where I intended to go. So here, the Guru is telling, if you intend to get peace, if you have the intention of having peace, then what everywhere, even in Bhajagovindam it is there, Tvai mai chanyat Vishnu vyartham kupyasi maya sahishnu bhava samachittah sarvatra tvam vanchasya chirad yadi vishnutvam. If you want Vishnutvam, if you want to be happy in life, if you want to be the master, if you want to be the master of circumstances, that is Vishnutvam. Vishnutvam is not being Bhagavan Vishnu. Vishnutvam is being like Bhagavan Vishnu, where he is the controller, he is the master of situations. He does not need to worry about people playing politics because he is the master of all politics. He does not need to worry about disease because he is the master of all diseases. He is a doctor who is a cure for all diseases. Yadi Vishnutvam. If you want to be like that, Bhava Samachittaha. Let your mind be equal in all places. Let there be no ups and downs in your lives. Let there be no ups and downs in your feelings, in your emotions. That is, I'm telling you, he says, the student is asking, maybe Vyartham Kopyasi means the student is irritated with the teacher, maybe. Then he says, Twayi, the teacher says, Twayi, in you and in me, Cha Anyat, in others also, Eko Vishnu. There is only one Vishnu. There is only one consciousness. Vyartham Kupyasi, then why are you just angry with me? Mai Asahishnu, you're not able to tolerate me, you're not able to tolerate my words. So the teacher will not impress upon people with their thoughts. Like when you are not in a mood, that is the reason why many people who join Vedanta sessions, Vedanta classes, so the crowd will always be like, maybe on the first day 50 people will come. On the second day there will be 20 people. Because if the person is talking in English, all the people who speak in Tamil will go away, or if they're talking in Tamil, the people in English will go away. So that becomes 30. And the remaining 20 will be there. 10 people will not come the next day because they will have very compelling assignments. That Vedanta itself, that subject itself will not allow people with too many other desires in life to sit there because that knowledge is not going to help them. Vedanta is very empathic in nature. So, usually the subject, if you want some subject, like we will be in ignorance whether that subject is good for us or not. But as far as Vedanta is concerned, Vedanta is more aware than us, the person who is learning. So Vedanta will do all the elimination process. Even if I don't know to make the right choice, I go and sit somewhere. If it is not for me, Vedanta will eliminate that person out. So that 10 will become 5 and 5 will become 3. And later on, the teacher will be sitting with only 2 people and the mic also will be there. He'll say there is no need for a mic. We'll just continue with the discussions. And the 2 will become 1 and the 1 also will listen and go away. Finally, only the teacher will remain. So that is the nature of Vedanta, and it cannot be forced upon anybody. Shabda Aksharam, Shabda Aksharam Param Brahma Tasmin Kshine Yad Aksharam. Shabda Aksharam Param Brahma. That Omkara, which we Swarena Sandhayet Yogam. So we say many words, many thoughts are all many thoughts and many words are all tamas. So what is sattvic here? What is consciousness? What can lead to what is the word that can lead to consciousness? Shabda Aksharam Param Brahma. Shabdam means one sound. Aksharam means one letter. That word Om with that sound Param Brahma. That is Brahman. Tasmin Kshine Yad Aksharam. That sound which disappears in that Brahman, Aksharam, is revealed. Tat Vidwan Aksharam Dhyayet. That you inhale deeply. This sound of Om, which is Shabda Aksharam, Param Brahma Tasmin Kshine Yad Aksharam. In that Brahman it drops. In that Brahman, whatever is there, Aksharam means the invincible. You cannot destroy it. You cannot destroy that Brahman, that silence into which this Om dropped. The sound can be destroyed. The sound can be terminated. But the sound which drops into that silence, you cannot destroy that silence. Yad Aksharam. Tad Vidwan Aksharam Dhyatva. So that Vidwan, the Vidwan who knows this, meditates on that Aksharam Dhyatva. Yadi Chet Shantim Atmanaha. If you want to be free in life, if you want liberation, if you want Shanti, if you want quietude of mind, Mano Nigrahaha, if you want the mind to be very quiet and not be disturbed at any point of time, if you want that, do this. If you don't want this, go ahead and do whatever you want in life. That is what the Upanishad Rishi is saying. We will continue with a few more verses in the next 2 days, after which this whole episode of Vedanta Shravana Sadhana Yagna completes 108 days. It's a very auspicious number. And we will see how these sessions are going to continue. So in another 2 days, we will complete this Amrita Bindu Upanishad with the 108th day of Vedanta Shravana Sadhana Yagna. Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ॐ असतो मा सद्गमय, तमसोर्मा ज्योतिर्गमय, मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते, पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। बोलिए श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। हर नमः पार्वती पतये। हर हर महादेव। हरि ओम।